Hi everyone, my name is Jenny Asaba, and I'm responsible for community engagement and advocacy at Jamf, a technology company based out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. Today I'm going to present Be Human, how vulnerability and curiosity can help your hub thrive. We're all aiming to do the same thing, help support our organization's key objectives through an excited and engaged customer base. But how? Too often we rely on tactical methodologies and forget about what makes the biggest impact, being human. This session will share what customers really want from you, their hub administrator, so you can build and maintain an advocacy program that thrives. By implementing a few simple tips and tricks, both org leadership and customers will see and invest in your program. Let's start with a couple of facts. People don't trust sales, and they don't trust marketing. Asia Frost asked an interesting question in a HubSpot article she wrote back in 2016. And while there is more current data supporting these facts, I like the simplicity in how she positioned the idea of industry trust. She shared this scenario. You're stranded on an island with 20 strangers. The group is holding a vote to decide who will be the leader. Everyone agrees the leader should be trustworthy, but unfortunately, profession is all you have to go on. So who do you vote for? The doctor, the accountant, the professional musician, or the sales rep? Now, if you rank them in that order, you're in the majority. According to research HubSpot did on this topic, only 3% of people considered salespeople to be trustworthy. But marketers don't get too excited because you're right down there with them. It's not surprising, right? People in these roles are responsible for getting others to buy their product. And consumers know that. So if they know there's an invisible dollar sign over their head and your job is to chase it, why would they trust you? With that said, my biggest piece of advice today is don't use your advocacy program predominantly as a marketing tool. The key word here is predominantly. Because can your program help fuel the objectives of your marketing department? Absolutely, but it should not be your focus. Remember, consumers are smart. And if they feel the main reason you invited them to your program is so you can either sell to them or have them help you sell to others, they're going to know, and they're going to probably not like it. So instead, build your program with a different lens. Recognize and commit to the objective that individuals in your program should always get more out of it than you or your organization. Put your customers at the center, not just in theory or on paper. Really put them in the center and commit to using your platform, your influitive program, to first and foremost help them achieve success in their role. When you do, they'll begin to trust you and your program will grow. Now you might be asking, Jenny, how do I show my customers they truly are the center of my program? The answer gets into the heart of this presentation. Start the same way any successful encounter between two human beings does. Put in place measures to build relationships. Influitive makes this so easy, starting with the first invitation you send to people you're inviting to your program. Well, the body of the email should highlight what the recipient will get out of it. Consider the small ways you can introduce yourself as a human behind the program. In this example here, you see that I signed it, your personal Jamf Heroes creator, mentor, and organizer. These few words allow the customer to immediately associate the program with me. I also have the email set up so that they show that they're coming from my work email address and not a no reply. This is an easy way to show that there is an individual reaching out to them. Remember that through every communication, you have an opportunity to allow customers to get to know you. And some of your personality, your voice, your tone, add it to those pieces so that they can start to get a sense of who you are, as well as the overall style and feel that they'll receive in your hub. Then, after your intriguing invitation gets them in, make sure you continue to lay those relationship stepping stones. Greet them with a message, again, that shows you are there for them. And here's an example of what I provide within my hub. Influitive makes it so easy to add these no friction touch points. So take every opportunity you have to show gratitude toward everyone in your program. Simply letting them know you're there to answer questions, a human and not a bot, makes a huge difference. By the way, I've had a lot of people who have responded to this message with just a simple hi. Giving them the permission to do that is an exceptionally easy way to break the ice and begin building a relationship with your customers. Now you're on a roll, so don't stop there. As new advocates come into your program, allow them to get to know you further through a bio challenge. This shows not only who you are as a professional, but it also allows them to get to know you on a more human level. I added my bio to a channel I titled The Person Behind the Mask, going with the superhero theme of my hub. In this channel, advocates can see my bio along with the bios of many of my colleagues from around the globe. Anytime you can introduce your customers to more human aspects of your organization, do it. This alone will tie customers closer to your org through the commonalities they find in others, whether it be personal interests, physical location, or even reason for entering their field. And pay attention to the details. For instance, in my bio photo, I decided to use a picture my colleague took of me while I was visiting Utrecht, a city outside of Amsterdam. You see, Jamf has customers all over the world, so a big part of my job is to find ways to connect them to each other and to Jamf overall. By using a photo where I'm not in the United States, it creates a connection point for our European customers, and they notice. I've had many people ask me about the photo, and each one of those questions turned into bigger conversations with my advocates. So choose your picture wisely. But as I'll continue to say, it doesn't stop there. Remember that it's your job to always be genuine, be selfless, be vulnerable, and be human. Members of your program will follow your lead. If you're willing to share who you are, they'll return the favor. In July, Jamf Heroes turned 2. I wanted my heroes to know all of the amazing things they did over the past 2 years. So I put together a long list of stats, anything from number of challenge completed to numbers of videos submitted for internal use at Jamf and everything in between. It was a lot of impressive numbers. Then, to make it more personal than listing all of them in a challenge, I recorded a video message. While an iPhone and basement lighting aren't the best makings for a stellar video, it doesn't matter because the message is genuine. Now here's a small piece of that clip.
Hi, Jamf Heroes. I hope everybody is doing well. As you may have seen in the hub, this Friday, July 10th, marks Jamf Heroes' 2-year birthday. Happy birthday! I cannot begin to express how excited I am that this program has grown to what it is in just 2 years. You are all just remarkable. So I did a little bit of stat finding, and because I don't trust my memory, I wrote these down. I'm going to read some off to you about everything that you all have helped accomplish over the last 2 years. It's amazing.
After posting this video, I immediately got people commenting on it in our Slack channel. They were surprised by the numbers, and they appreciated that I took the time and was willing to get on camera to share a message of their success. In that original birthday challenge, I also asked them to recognize a fellow Jamf hero. I followed up those responses with this kudos challenge, which listed all of the recognitions. Note my verbiage. I'm going to take a minute to have a proud mama moment. Most of the heroes know I'm a mom, and though I'm not really a funny person, I think they got at least a little humor out of the fact that I referenced my age in this statement. In this challenge, I also gave the heroes a chance to congratulate all of the heroes who were mentioned. This is one of the responses that came in, and I thought it summed up the success of my program and what any program can look like. So to me, it isn't about proving out ROI. Now, some of you might be in shock because you're constantly struggling to figure out how to prove the worth of your program so you can gain buy-in and support from your organization. And yes, proving worth is important, of course. And while I take a look at the numbers of dollars influenced from references, referrals, etc., those aren't the metrics, in my opinion, that show the true story of success. Instead, I consider other aspects of the hub, areas that prove I built a genuine relationship with my customers. For instance, when my CEO needed videos of customers talking about their success with our product with about a day of notice, I was able to source 4 videos from customers in 4 different countries within 24 hours. Why? Because when I say I needed something and it will make a difference for Jamf, my customers trust me and want to help. Those interactions, those relationships show the true success of a program. And to me, they're far more valuable than reporting numbers on a spreadsheet. But building relationships that get you to that point where you can ask and your customers will be there to deliver, it takes time. And with some, you'll never get there, and that's okay. Some individuals or cultures as a whole are more guarded or reserved. My husband is a prime example. He's a private person, and based on both his culture and overall upbringing, doesn't willingly divulge personal information. I, on the other hand, I'm the complete opposite. I'm a fairly open book and will share lots of information, probably more than you'd want to know. But this trait is also what's helped me develop needed, meaningful relationships in difficult situations. For instance, when I was working as a young reporter in the Bronx, it was imperative to my work that I could talk to pretty much anyone about pretty much anything. Politicians, community leaders, criminals, officers of the NYPD. When I started at the newspaper, we didn't have great relationships with the local precincts. And if you're a reporter without good relationships with your local law enforcement agency, you have nothing. So I slowly started to build what was lost. This meant a lot of dedicated work showing how much I cared for the community these agencies work to protect. Late night, not so exciting town hall meetings, consistent check-ins with the precinct, and following through on whatever they sent my way. I was able to rebuild relationships with both the 45th and 49th precincts, and even did a couple of ride-alongs with my friend Officer Traumer, as seen here, because he trusted me and knew I had a genuine interest in learning more about the community so I could better represent it in the media. He took me to the projects, and we met members of the local Bloods and Crips. Chris and I are still friends on Facebook to this day, 12 years later, and the time I spent with him, I'll never forget. But it all started by building relationships. So as I mentioned, genuine curiosity so I could better help the community through my work is what allowed me to gain those valuable relationships with the NYPD. We all need to have that same outlook in our work every day. We need to want to know what helps our customers so we can provide it to them in our programs. Remember how I mentioned we have to give our customers more than we receive? That's where it starts. Ask your advocates, what can I do? What can I provide in the program that would make your job easier? Then deliver on it. And while you're doing that, be vulnerable. Depending on who hears it, vulnerable is a scary word. I get it. But I'm saying bare your soul to a community of strangers? No. Of course, that would be completely up to you if you wanted to, but I look at it a little differently. For instance, show where you are. We're all sitting in a lot of video calls these days, and depending on where my kids are at any given moment, I move around the house. But all of my virtual meetups with my advocates are done from my kids' Lego table, right here. While everyone on the call, you included, can't see the Legos strewn all about, they can see the Marvel posters, an assortment of some random toys in the background, and that's a good thing. Without saying anything about my surroundings, anyone on the call can probably assume that I have children, and they can recognize that Black Panther is a favorite. You see, by not having a Zoom background, I allow others into my life just a little bit, into my world. They learn a little more about me just by seeing what's in my environment. What if every one of your customers did the same thing in your virtual meetups? Imagine the things you could learn. I now know one of my customers has a massive Star Wars figurine collection, another plays guitar, and another has an impressive camera collection over in his apartment in France. Now, showing people our environments is one of the easiest ways we can be vulnerable. And if you pay attention, these clues can help you find commonalities between you and your customers. And this is a stepping stone for building relationships. Ask customers what you see in their environment. Remember, it's there because it's important to them. People don't typically display or surround themselves with things they hate, so use what you see as a conversation starter. They'll appreciate your intrigue. But always be willing to give first. Don't expect from your customers what you aren't willing to give yourself. And recognize that everything doesn't have to be perfect. Part of what makes us human is our imperfections. Some of us have messy kitchens. There might be a random bird that starts chirping out your window, or we might have children who sometimes get on camera. Those are pieces of our real, genuine lives. So don't say sorry when your kids come to give you a morning hug in the middle of a meeting. Instead, embrace the fact that your colleagues or customers get to see a different side of you and use these human elements in your hub. In this challenge, I asked customers to share something they did with Jamf recently. But since I myself don't use our software, I shared a photo of myself baking. It's something I do a lot. And again, it shows a bit of vulnerability while allowing my advocates to get to know just a little bit more about me. So give more than you hope to get back, and your program will thrive. And remember, at the foundational level, you need to give your customers reasons to trust you. Show them who you are as a professional, yes, but also as a human. Allow them to make personal connections with you and others at your organization. Show them that you have their best interest at the center of what you do. And continually communicate that your customers are the backbone of your organization's success. And that's why they deserve so much more than to be used as a sales and marketing tool. They'll be there for you when you need them if you're genuinely there for them every day. So be human and enjoy the ride. Thank you.
And now it's everyone's favorite question time. Let's get asking.